Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing off my Macintosh Plus 1 MB model. I have the Floppy emulator here. I'm emulating a 2 GB hard drive on there. Of course, the original hard drive models were 20 megabytes. It's called the HD20. But this one right there, as you can see, it's a 1,879 megabytes. This will also emulate floppy drives, but you can't do hard drives and floppies at the same time. And I'm shooting at 30 frames a second because I figured it was better. If you shoot at 60 frames a second, you'll get a larger black bar than just a single line, but that's not really, you can't really see that on the, if you were looking at it normally. I have the keyboard here, everything is original. This is actually the most yellowed component. This isn't even the platinum model. It's a bit more yellowed on this side, but it looks quite new. So I have a floppy here. This was WordPerfect, but you can just overwrite these. These are normally like, I think 1.44 meg. They're for Windows, but this is only an 800K drive. So if you overwrite, you can overwrite on the Mac and format it to use any floppy drive that you want. I have a Word document on it. And this opens up MacWrite, but MacWrite is really not that great of a program. It's like if you center something, you can't just center a selection. It centers and aligns everything. It's known for not being the most functional of the Word programs. I also have Word in here. I'll show that in a second. And ejecting, it's pretty simple. You just go here, eject, and then it's got a little motor in there. Ejects it right out. And the icon stays there so that if you were to click on it, it would just pop up and say, please insert the disk. On the main hard drive here, I've got a bunch of programs. Since it's a 2 GB disk, of course, 2 gigabytes was a lot back then. A lot of apps. Of course, there's Mac Paint here, so we can do like Hello World, but it's a little bit hard to do on the mouse. That looks like Heli instead. So there's a bunch of programs. I got calculator. The smooth talker is pretty cool because you can play audio files. Here, I'll show this. So if we type in here, oops, there's hello YouTube. See if you can pronounce YouTube. Actually, let me see first. Yeah, turn the sound up. There we go. So it's gonna take a bit to process it. I'll play that again because I didn't have my microphone right over there. So hopefully you heard that. It's actually not bad considering this came out in 1986. But you can make it say longer things. I don't really know why you'd want to use this to speak, unless, I guess maybe if you were disabled you could use it, but I've got HyperCard in there, but the HyperCard really doesn't work well in the Macintosh Plus because it just takes so long to load. Print Shop, kind of the same thing as HyperCard, I think. Here's Microsoft Word. I'll show this just because this will load nice and fast. And this was really the best word processor on the Macintosh. Here you can see the date. It's licensed to me. And then you've got your simple document here. There's a bunch of different fonts. It's kind of similar to MacWrite, but I think there's some better features. I haven't really used Word on here that much because I have Word in my other computer, of course, and Google Docs. You'll notice it's really slow loading in and out because it has to redraw every single menu in here. So those are all the apps I have. Some utilities. None of these are really that interesting. There's copy to Mac. Yeah, it's disk copy 4.2. Speedometer. Disk copy is pretty interesting. If you insert a floppy drive, it'll load everything into RAM, and then you can write it onto another floppy drive. I think you can also save it into image files, so it's pretty useful. Speedometer is just a benchmarking program. Bunch of games in here. None of these are like, I guess, super interesting to show for YouTube. There's not a ton you can do. I don't know if I should be showing that on YouTube. Glider's pretty interesting. I kind of forget the controls for it. It's like J and I, and I'm not that great, but yeah, see, I think I pressed J. I'm not 100% sure how it all works. And then in the extras folder, I don't really have anything here. These are just some more like extra stuff that I can add into the system folder. So if we go into About, here it's on System 6.0.8, and these are all the people that worked on, or I guess the main people that worked on the software. That's not the Steve Jobs, that's a different Steve. And I have 2.5 megabytes of memory. Go to the control panel. Problem is that I don't have the battery, so it's pretty annoying. But you can see all the settings in here, like there's different sound settings, map. So I also have, that's pretty cool, I thought. I also have a couple other disks, so let's see if I shut down. Yep. If I go into Floppy Emulator, you can see you can edit some things in here. So if we go, we can emulate a floppy drive, and then we turn it off, and then back on. Sometimes I did this. So here we can select a disk. The Macintosh hard drive is the main hard drive, but since I'm emulating a floppy, there's not going to be anything in there. So right here we can emulate System 1.1. This never came on the Macintosh Plus. This is more of a Macintosh 128K software. So this is the System 1.1, which is not that much you can do. So I'll just do like the About. Here you can see this is the original software that came on the 128K Mac, and this is 1.1. And yeah, see, that's the other guy's last name, Steve Caps, not Steve Jobs. And where's the? I don't know. I think this is like French. Not sure. And you'll notice this one didn't actually have a shutdown button either. So to shut it down, just flip the switch. And I also have another disk. Let's see. You know what, I think I can just do this. Oh, no, maybe not. And you know, it automatically found my disk from last time. But I do have another disk further in that has system 3.2 on it. It's not that interesting. I mean, there's really not that many changes between the two of them in terms of like the main GUI here. I don't know what that little logo is. I think that could be like a modem connection. This one doesn't have any internet on it, but I think there might be a way to emulate a modem with an Arduino or something like that. So let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. So now I'll open it up and I'll show the inside component. This one's pretty clean, so pretty interesting. I'm not actually sure if it's been recapped, but we'll see in a second. Alright, so I just took all the screws out. There's only 5 of them. They are there behind the battery cover. Already took that one out and put the battery cover back in. And there's these two down here. I used the iFixit screwdriver. But as a note, you have to like cut off this or else you won't be able to get the screwdriver all the way down in there. I mean, if you've watched this video this far, you already know what the inside of a Macintosh looks like. And of course, back in the bottom here, there is the signatures of everybody who worked on it. All engraved. I think Steve Jobs is on there somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure where he is. I believe it was Steve Wozniak once said that great artists sign their work, and I kind of find it funny that Apple, of course, no longer signs their work. It's like you won't sign all the design engineers, you won't find them in the Macintosh. Of course, it might be, or in the newer day like Macs, but it might be in the software somewhere. There's the cathode ray tube. I haven't discharged it, and I'm really not going to. Just there isn't really any need. Yeah, if anybody knows, I don't really know if those are, if this one was recapped at all. I don't think it is, though. I mean, this Mac has just been in really good condition, so I'm pretty sure that probably hasn't been recapped. But I'm also not sure because like that hot glue up there is a different color as that hot glue. I'll take out the system board now. It's got a little ESD protective coating. And I'm gonna stop recording so I can take this out with both hands. Alright, so here's the main PCB. I can see it's Apple computer right down there, the Macintosh Plus from 1986. And this one has the RAM upgrade. There's also the clipped resistor right up there. That one might have been desoldered. I am going to be upgrading this one to 4 megabytes soon. These are the two 256K, and then these are each 1 megabyte. And then there's the main processor. It's 8 megahertz Motorola 6800, or that'd be 68,000 actually. I think these are the 2 ROM chips. And there's a 16 megahertz crystal. It's got all the ports in the back here. So was that headphone, mouse, maybe floppy, or external hard drive? That's a SCSI. That one I think is the modem. And oh geez, I don't actually remember which one that is. Oh yeah. So this one's printer, this one's modem, and then those are the 2 like debug buttons right there. And then here's the inside. That's the brightness button down there. It's the floppy drive. I'm not gonna take that out. I mean, it's really clean. Then of course there's brightness adjustment on, or other like XY position, brightness cutoff, a couple other things. Alright, so now I'm going to reassemble it. Alright, so here it is, all back together. The story of how I got this machine is I just bought it from Facebook Marketplace, paid $250. I mean, it's a bit on the expensive side for Macintosh Plus. But I mean, considering the condition of all the plastic on here, I mean, the mouse is a little bit rough, but that's to be expected. Mouse usually gets the most use out of it, and I didn't actually buy it separately. It came with the emulator, so I think, I mean, $250 was a pretty good deal on this machine, and considering that it'll probably slowly go up in value over time. So here it is. Just wanted to show this off, and it's pretty clean, especially considering that it's not the platinum model. There it is again. You know, I probably should have looked at a couple of the date codes. There might be one on the underside of the machine with a serial number to find out if, you know, if this was an original Macintosh Plus or if it was one of the later models, but I'm not sure. I mean, it seems like this was stored for a long time. It wasn't really used a ton. Just, I don't know. It's pretty interesting to see that this machine from 1986 still works today. It still works pretty great too. But thanks for watching.